Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today, I wanted to kind of break it down and do a video where I talked about a topic that was on my mind. Now, the topic that's on my mind is metabolism, and I really believe that metabolism is one of the most misunderstood things when it comes to the weight loss space for a lot of people. The reason that this even came to my mind was I recently posted a full day of eating on Instagram Reels, and it was on TikTok, and it was on YouTube Shorts. It was on all of those places. But most of the conversation was nice and stuff. And then someone left a comment that said basically something to the effect of, I wish I had, your metabolism. It must be nice to have a fast metabolism, right? Because in that full day of eating, I'm eating about 3,400 calories, which is a pretty normal full day of eating for me. That's about as many calories as I eat. And whenever I have done full day of eatings, I've had people comment about the fact that it must be nice that you're able to eat X, Y, Z amount of calories, because if I even look at, a donut, I gain 10 pounds. And so that's the thing that kind of motivated me to want to film this video on metabolism. So what we're going to be doing, and this is all kind of off the cuff, I don't have anything written down, shocker, I know, is I want to just go over the basics of metabolism to try and explain it in a way that I think anyone would be able to go away from this video at least having a general understanding, because I feel like metabolism, so many people think that it's just you either have a fast metabolism or you have a slow metabolism and there's nothing you can do about it and you just are born with whatever kind of metabolism you have. And that is not true. There are certain factors that we can control that can help boost your metabolism. It's not that simple. That makes it sound a lot more simple than it is. But there are certain things that you can do to help your metabolism, or basically make it so you are able to burn more calories per day. In turn, you're able to eat more calories and not gain weight, right? And so that's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on how you can leverage those things to hopefully boost your metabolism, or at least understand why you feel like you can only eat 2,000 calories and you still gain weight, while you see someone else that's able to eat 4,000 calories and they're not gaining weight, and it feels like it's unfair. So that's what I'm going to try and do today. There are three main factors that go into your metabolism, or how many calories you burn throughout a day, right? The first one is your BMR. That stands for basal metabolic rate. I like to call this your coma calories, okay? And so this is the amount of calories that you would burn if you are in a coma, right? If you were just laying in bed and not moving, not doing anything at all. Your BMR is affected by a whole host of factors, which we'll get into in a little bit, but it is something that you can kind of change up a little bit. There are some things that you can do there to increase, the amount of calories that you're burning through your BMR. The other thing is going to be the amount of calories that you burn through activity, right? So through exercise, through movement, stuff like that. That one's pretty self-explanatory. And the other one, this is one that's not brought up as much, is your thermic effect of food. So basically how much energy it takes your body to burn and use up and digest and do all that of the food that you are actually eating. There are certain macros and certain types of foods that basically require more energy to get through your system than other types of foods. That's why when you hear simple carbohydrates versus complex carbohydrates, things like that, there are certain foods that might take a little bit more out of your body to process than other types of foods. So the first thing that I want to focus on is your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, or your coma calories. This is something that if you change the way your body is comprised, it will change your BMR. So someone who is 400 pounds is going to require a lot more energy to maintain that weight than someone that is 200 pounds. Now, something I've talked about a lot is your TDEE, or total daily energy expenditure. BMR is a really big factor of your TDEE. We're going to go to a website and I'm going to calculate my BMR and my TDEE so you can understand, and I will link this website in the description. It's completely free. This is the website right here. It's called tdeecalculator.net. Again, it will be linked in the description. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. All right, so we are going to calculate my TDEE. We already have the information in here. 5'9", I would say that I heavy exercise and I don't have my body fat. It's not something that I would worry about too much. All right, so we're gonna calculate that. Okay, so it is saying that my TDEE is about 3,300 calories. Sounds about right, because that's about the amount that I eat, and I'm not currently trying to lose weight or anything like that, okay? And so your basal metabolic rate is right here in the bottom, at the very top. And for me, my BMR is 1,900 calories. Okay, so that's the amount of calories that if I were to just sit and do nothing at all, laying in a bed, that's the amount of calories that I would burn. A lot of people think that you have to be doing a ton of exercise, you have to be moving to burn any sort of calories. Your body, just by living, right, by surviving, is going to be burning calories. Now, I want to make it clear that his website is just a calculator. It's not a perfect example. It's not going to give you the most accurate, like 100%, this is what you should be eating, but it's a good tool and one that I recommend you use if you're just kind of curious about the numbers that you should be around. BMR and TDEE also kind of explain why I get a little frustrated when people talk about, oh, you're gonna do metabolic damage if you lose weight too fast, because then they'll say like, oh, if you're 300 pounds and you're eating, 3,000 calories and then you lost 100 pounds and now you're only able to eat 2,000, you had metabolic damage. No, right? You are in a smaller body that requires less energy, and so it is normal to not be eating as many calories, right? And so the guy that I talked to that left that comment that kind of sparked this video was saying that he was like 165 pounds and he was eating, like 1,800 calories. And so I replied to him, I said, man, I weigh 215 pounds, right? I was like, I probably have a good amount of muscle, like a good amount more than you do. And so of course I would be eating more. Now, so that explains one of the, I think, biggest and most important things for anyone that is trying to lose weight, but especially if you're trying to keep weight off, is some type of weight training. Now, I understand not everyone likes to lift, but if you have more muscle, you are able to eat more food and not gain weight, because muscle takes more energy, requires more energy than fat. And so I am able to eat a good amount more than maybe someone else that is 215 pounds, that maybe a lot of that mass is made up of body fat instead of muscle. So I am able to consume a good amount more calories than them, right? That's why I am such a fan of lifting, not just because, it makes you look good or makes you feel good. It literally makes it easier to keep the weight off. I am able to eat 3,000-ish calories and not gain any weight. A lot of people hear that and they think that's insane. You must be so lucky to have such a fast metabolism. I want to make it clear. When I first started losing weight, or before I even started losing weight, when I was struggling with my weight, I used to joke all the time about the fact that I don't have a metabolism. My metabolism's broken because I felt like if I just looked at a McDouble, I'd gain weight. When in reality, I was eating significantly more than my friends. Like, yes, we went to McDonald's together, but I was eating 2, 3, maybe even 4 times the amount of food that they were eating. But in my mind, it didn't register that I was eating so much more than them. It just registered that we're both eating McDonald's, my friend's skinny, and I am, significantly more overweight. And so there is usually a way to explain why you feel like your metabolism is just slow and you can barely eat anything and you will gain weight. Now, another way that you could obviously increase your metabolism or the amount of calories that you are burning is through moving more. I'm not a super huge fan of being like, you should do a lot more exercise to burn more calories. I just don't think that that is the best way to go about it. I think that there are better ways. And so what I recommend people do is that you try and just move more throughout the day. You take more steps, you just get more movement in your day instead of being like, I'm going to run a ton of extra miles. Because yes, you will be burning more calories, but a lot of times when you are making the movement pretty intense, it makes you hungrier, and so therefore you are hungrier, obviously, and you want to eat more calories, and then so it almost is like counterintuitive. It kind of like X's itself out. That's not always the case, and like obviously everyone's different, but my recommendation before, like, just especially if you're already doing cardio, if you're not doing any cardio, then obviously I think that's a good idea. But if you're already doing cardio and you're thinking, I just need to do more, I would hold off on that. Try and just increase the amount of movement that you have throughout a day. If you have a step goal, maybe up it by a few thousand. Things like that to increase your NEAT. Another term that we're going to be learning. What does that stand for? Well, that stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So NEAT. So what that is basically the calories that you are burning while you're just living your life and moving around. Like the amount of calories, how I'm moving around while I'm making this video. Of course I'm sweating, right? All of those things, that increases your NEAT, which increases the amount of calories that you burn. And in fact, it increases your metabolism and it makes it so you are burning more calories throughout the day. And so you can eat more calories and still not gain weight. Another way that you can boost your metabolism is by, the reason I'm putting that in quotes is because I hate how cheesy that sounds. another way that you might help your metabolism along is how I would phrase it, is through eating actually a bit more protein, maybe eating protein at every meal, right? So protein takes a little bit more work for your body to digest through the thermic effect of food, right? So we talked about that already. So if you're having protein with every meal, your body is working to get rid of it, and therefore you are increasing your metabolism. So that's one of the benefits of eating extra protein, eating more protein, right? I think eating more protein, especially if you're not eating enough, is always a good idea, especially if you're lifting. There's so many benefits that can come from it that I really recommend that. So if you feel like you're not getting enough protein, that seriously might help. Now, through the thermic effect of food, are you going to be burning an extra like hundreds and hundreds and maybe even 1,000? No, it's nothing that significant. A lot of the things that we've talked about are not going to be that significant, some more than others. This one is obviously something that you can look into, and it might be worth your time. Just like adding more protein in general might be a good idea for you, just in many other aspects as well, but that can be a benefit as well. Kind of wrapping up this video, I do want to say there are certain people that are going to be out there that have genuine conditions that might affect their metabolism or affect the amount of calories that they are burning. And so I just want to make it clear that this video is mainly focused on, the vast majority of people that don't have any sort of, disease or disorder or anything that would affect that metabolism, right? The reason I wanted to make this video is because I see so much misinformation and I see so many people feel like they have no control over this, right? This is something that we can help along, that we can control and we can understand. And I think that understanding this can be really, really helpful in just making you feel like you're empowered to make the right decisions, right? At the end of the day, we're all different. No one's going to have all of the exact answers that you need, but I think getting this information in as many people's hands as possible so you can understand it for yourself is really, really, really important. Now, there's so much more when it goes into metabolism. This was obviously a very simple look, but I just want people to understand the basics, right? So you can make those decisions. So I would say if you are still a little bit confused, my first recommendation is go to that website that I linked in the description. Again, not sponsored. Track your TDEE, read about the stuff that they have on the website, and just learn a little bit for yourself, right? You have choices. You can make good decisions. You have a lot of power in your hands that you might not realize, right? So metabolism is not some ethereal thing that you have no control over. There are things that you can do to help it along. And hopefully this video was able to do that. If you're someone that has a good amount of information on metabolism, please feel free to leave anything that I maybe missed in the comment section down below. If you have any questions, leave questions in the comment section down below. I'm sure there will be plenty of people that are smarter than me that will be down there that can answer some of your questions. I hope that this video was able to help you out. Genuinely, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.